Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane channel, and we are talking about the Vuelta Espana 2025. We've already done that in a different video, why Jonas Vingegaard is the favorite, and we thought, because there were so many comments, that we might as well do a second video where we talk about who, if anyone, can actually beat Jonas Vingegaard. As always, I'm joined by Patrick Blake of How Do Cycling, and we are available on Spotify as well. Do help us out there if you haven't already. But Patrick, Jonas Vingegaard, many jokes about the kitchen isn't ready in the last video, so he's gonna have to focus on the kitchen, or all these jokes. Kind of drafting, kind of backlog from the Tour de France. That story I don't think is going to go away. But Jonas Vingegaard, we've said he's the big favorite. No Tadej Pogacar here. Is there anyone who can realistically beat him? When we think about his Grand Tour racing, it's only really Tadej who's beat him. The Vuelta, where he didn't win, the first one he did, he was working for Roglic, and obviously it was his first Grand Tour. He wasn't actually riding for himself. So none of these guys on the start list have actually beaten the Dane in a Grand Tour. So, oops.
Yeah, that is it's a little bit of an ominous thought for the rest of the competitors going up against Vingegaard, but we're going to take a look at them anyway, see who's going to be, at the very least, filling out the other podium spots, the top 5, top 10 and stuff like that. Because the fact of the matter is, just because Vingegaard is on the star list doesn't mean that he is going to be the winner, because we all thought that it was going to be Roglic or Ayuso who's going to win the Giro d'Italia. That didn't end up being the case. So to finish first you must finish. That's the mantra. So we're going to go on the base who's going to be the second best, and who, if anything happened to Vingegaard, would inherit the victory from him. Because there are some good riders in this Vuelta to Espana, and without Pogacar here, it does open up a couple of the podium spots to see who could get a nice result on their Palmares.
I mean, I do lie as well. There was another rider who beat him in a Grand Tour, and that was Sepp Kuss. But
oh gosh, yeah.
Let's not open up that can of worms. The comment section, when we talked about that, went absolutely radioactive. I mean, Sepp Kuss is on the start line, so there is a man who has beaten Vingegaard in a Grand Tour. But we're kind of thinking who, if anyone, can actually do this. Obviously, when you say this Melissa bike, you have to look at UAE Team Emirates. Joao Almeida, who actually did beat him on a stage in Paris-Nice. He was the one who caught him and then passed him on the finishing line, poaching that win. And in 2024, when both of them were at the Tour de France, because I think that is a very good comparison. Obviously, Almeida did have duties for Tadej Pogacar, but in that edition, he finished 13 minutes down on Jonas Vingegaard across the 3 weeks. So, I mean, he still finished 4th, which was impressive, working for Tadej. But yeah, it's not looking too good. And then within that team, you would want a team that's stronger than Visma. Jay Vine, we know he's very strong when he's on form. Ivo Oliveira, Felix Großschartner, Juan Ayuso, we talked about this as well. Those two normally have a bit of tension when it comes to Vuelta España. Marc Soler as well, in from the Tour de France. So yeah, I don't see it as a stronger team than Visma Leasebike. I don't see Almeida stronger than Vingegaard. So yeah, it's a hard one.
But I think realistically, if somebody is going to beat Visma Leasebike, I think it will be I would be tempted more to say Almeida than Ayuso. I think Almeida's just had a better season than Ayuso has. We don't know really how well. The fact of the matter is, both Almeida and Ayuso have crashed out of the Grand Tour, which they've both been allocated this year so far. So they're both looking for a little bit of redemption. And I would say, based on this season, that Almeida is a better candidate than Ayuso for the win, but they're going to have to work together, quite frankly, to try and beat Vingegaard. That's not going to be an easy task to do, but if realistically it's going to be one of those two, if it isn't going to be, somebody else from Visma Leasebike, just because of the fact that Almeida and Ayuso have both finished on the podium of a Grand Tour before. Obviously, that was Ayuso's finished on the podium of the Vuelta, Almeida on the podium of the Giro. So they both know what it takes to finish on the podium of a Grand Tour. And that may well be all that they can get this year, not for win, but I think that realistically those are the main competitors towards Vingegaard's challenge, or Vingegaard's win. Would you agree with that, or are you seeing somebody else on the start list who might throw a spanner in the works?
We have a Colombian winner of the Vuelta, Nairo Quintana. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my word.
I'm so mean. Always just punching bag of Nairo Quintana. It's because I didn't forgive him what he did at the start of the 2019 Tour de France, where he ignored his Colombian fans. I still have the grudge, and I'm not even part of that fan group, and I'm carrying that grudge. And he ignored my friend as well, so that was not very nice. And she liked him. Anyways, that Nairo tangent aside. Richard Carapaz, but I don't know what his form's like. He looked good at the Giro if he could get some sort of form like that, but I don't see that challenging Vingegaard. I don't think EF have a strong enough team to challenge Visma at all. The only thing I can see is like bad luck for Vingegaard. That's what I can see him not winning this. Little Trek, Theo Gegenhardt, not the same Theo Gegenhardt that won the Giro, as we all know, but Ciccone looked really good at the Vuelta a Burgos, available here on the Cycling Day and Extra channel. Yeah, he looked very good. I don't know if you saw it, Patrick, but on stage 1, there was this crazy crash with Del Toro, where Del Toro takes the corner, I think, too sharp the angle, and then crashes. And then as he crashes, Ciccone is coming on the inside, and then Del Toro catches his wheel or something, and then drags down the Italian. Doesn't get the same time as the winner because it's an uphill. So his whole race was kind of just, messed up by this. Wins the final stage, though, and drops Del Toro quite convincingly. So if he's able to build even more, get even stronger before the Vuelta a España, I mean, GC Ciccone could be a thing. I mean, have we had him in the top 10 before of the Giro? It rings a bell. So if he could get our GC campaign together, but I don't see him challenging Vingegaard at all.
Yeah, I think challenging Vingegaard will be difficult, but as a podium candidate, I think he's definitely in that ballpark, because if you consider that Del Toro finished on the podium of the Giro.
Oh, true.
And Ciccone beat him in Burgos on that final stage, where it kind of really counted. And he was super good in San Sebastian as well, taking that victory as well. Ciccone is building towards something really good at the moment, and what's also in his favour is that there isn't a lot of individual time trialling kilometres in this race as well, which would be his. He is actually getting better at his time trialling, but he'll still lose time. But the point being is that Ciccone is certainly up there, I think, for a podium candidate spot. But, like you say, he hasn't really strung it together that high up in a GC, in a Grand Tour before, so it's a little bit unknown. He was looking good in the Giro d'Italia this year, unfortunately crashed out. But, maybe this is it. Maybe Ciccone, this is going to be his big GC bid, and I think that he is, up there for a podium candidate for me. But like you say, beating Vingegaard, it's going to be, it's essentially what we're bringing it down to, is that Vingegaard is going to need to have something go wrong somewhere in those 3 weeks for anybody else to have a chance.
I mean, we have some other riders in from the Tour as well. I mean, well, if we stick to Vuelta a Burgos, Egan Bernal's here as well. He finished 6th there. He didn't look super impressive, in my opinion, but still in the right direction. And also the rider that lost the lead on the final day, Leo Bizio, who I was super impressed by, this 20-year-old kid. And very, very close for winning. And they've got Felix Gall as well, who was 5th in the Tour, and Johannes Stouten-Mitten, who, under 23 Giro d'Italia champion a few years ago, but maybe, Decathlon AG2R, you and Ewan are both huge fans of this project for the last few weeks, months, whatever. The direction, definitely, that's what I mean, the direction they're going in. So are they going to be in the factor or a factor in the podium spots here?
I don't really see it, to be honest. I think,
ouch, I was expecting optimism.
Nah, I think Gal, he was 5th in the Tour, to be fair. He is a very good climber, but I see Gal as a top 5 candidate. I think just getting on the podium, it's going to require a few things to go right, I think, and maybe a couple of things to go wrong for some other candidates for the podium. Gal could get up on there if you say Vingegaard, and realistically, you're looking at an Almeida or an Ayuso or a Ciccone taking up another one of those spots. He's going to have to beat one of those guys really to get up there. And 5th place of the Tour is certainly nothing to be, sniffed at. He was, if you take Pogacar and Vingegaard out of the way, the kind of air quotes aliens of the sport, that's actually a podium place. Which I know that's not how cycling works. So, well, if you just remove all the people in front of me, I would have won. Because that logic doesn't really hold up in court. But the point is, if he can continue that form from the Tour, he is, I think, a top 5 candidate. But I just don't see having a finish on the podium will be tricky.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Soudal Quickstep are bringing the winner of the Vuelta Burgos as well in 2021. Mikel Landa. He was at the Vuelta Burgos this year, didn't win. 18th, had, I can't remember which, I think it was stage 3 or maybe stage 5, where he had a downhill attack, but it fizzled out. So yeah, who knows where his form is. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. Pellizzari was in the Vuelta Burgos as well. He was struggling quite a bit on that final stage, but did manage to salvage a 4th place overall. Still only 21 years old. Looked very good at the Giro. I mean, yeah, he could definitely be someone. What do you think his ceiling is in this race? 6th in the Giro d'Italia this year already.
Yeah, I think that Giro is certainly telling that he's got the ability to get a good Grand Tour result. And I think he'll be looking toward, I think realistically, a top 10, but with the aim of being top 5 and probably competing. I'm not sure who is in the run for this competition, but for the white jersey, Riccatello, Ayuso will be in there as well. I think he might be in with a shout for the white jersey. Taberi will probably be also, in that competition. I think he could be optimistic about the white jersey. Ayuso and Taberi, your main competitors, but I don't think Pellizzari is somebody to be underestimated. That Giro really showed us that he is a fantastic climber, and like I said, with a lack of time trial in kilometres, he will be in a really good position to try and put some hurt in on some of those climbs. And we saw it last year with Ben O'Connor. He finished on the podium because of a bit of a crazy breakaway raid where he gained minutes. So all it takes is for something to go right like that, where you're getting the right breakaway, somebody underestimates you, thinking, they're not a huge candidate, and then bang, shot at the leaderboard. So yeah, I think Pellizzari will be underestimated. That's my take on that.
I mean, they also have Jared Hindley and Vlasov in there, so it's quite a strong team. An interesting point with that as well, he's 21 and going to be doing his 2nd Grand Tour in a year. Tadej Pogacar didn't do that until last year. So obviously different policies for different teams. So we'll see how that affects him as well. So yeah, he's 21 and doing 2 Grand Tours. That's quite incredible. When you flip it to Del Toro, who's not allowed to do the Vuelta for the UAE team, which I guess with the form he's had right now is probably a bit annoying. Yeah, Del Toro, do you think he could have been the thorn in Vingegaard's side? 3-pronged attack. We've seen it before with Movistar, but would it work? Almeida, Del Toro, and Ayuso.
On like a curve, I realise people on the podcast won't be able to understand this, but you kind of essentially, you get like 1 leader, and then 2 leaders, your chance of winning goes up a little bit, and then with a 3rd one, it tumbles downwards drastically. Like 3 leaders is just an awful idea, and it should never be deployed by any team ever again, unless it's in the classics, in which case it can work. In a Grand Tour, it's an awful idea. I don't think Del Toro would shift the tide to take on Vingegaard. I think that he was good in the Giro, but at the end of the day, he was beaten by Carapaz and Yates, who, I know Yates isn't here, but Carapaz is, and I just think that Del Toro won't really add that much. He just has to add complexity to the team, which they don't really need when they've already got Almeida and Ayuso there.
I think that's basically it. We don't want to do too much as if it's a preview show, because it's not a preview show because we haven't got the confirmation or a lot of confirmations. But we might as well finish on a prediction out of the riders here. Who do you think is going to be heading up the podium? And is it maybe going to change? Is Vingegaard not going to be number 1?
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think
there's
we've
more.
ever had a Danish winner of the Vuelta.
Really? I think Partner was like dabbling with the idea of can Sepkus do it again or Jorgensen? Can they get ahead of Vingegaard and hold on to the victory? I think realistically, Vingegaard is the favourite. I see somebody from UET Emirates finishing on the podium, but honestly, I'm not convinced it'll be in second place. I think that Almeida and Ayuso have both had crashes this year, and I don't know how they're going. Whereas, Cicconi's had a crash as well, but he's on the up. I would say that I think Ciccone could finish third, and I would dare say, I think Almeida second, Vingegaard third. Carapaz, honestly.
Third.
Oh, no, sorry, Vingegaard first, Almeida second, and then Ciccone third, or I think that Carapaz is definitely up there in my thinking as well. Basically, I don't think that UET Emirates is going to have quite as easy of a time of getting this podium place as people might think. I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle, and I don't think that Almeida and Ayuso are locks to get on there. I think you've got a lot of competitors who are looking really strong, who could well really take it to them. What about you? Who do you think is going to be? Who's your provisional podium so we can get in two podiums?
Yeah, exactly.
One for the official preview show, then we can kind of fall back on either.
Yeah, exactly. So this doesn't matter. So Max Poole wins the Vuelta.
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah.
We didn't even mention Tom Pidcock either, but I don't know.
Rightfully so, because he's going to finish 22nd in GC. All right, it's not going to happen. Just because he won the Tour of Norway does not mean he's going to win the Vuelta. All right, we all need to just calm down, take a reality pill. He might win a stage.
He played the Giro wrong. He should have gone for the tactic of going for stages. But maybe he does it here. Probably not. Well, since this podium doesn't really matter, not that any of these, it's not like we're being held to account, really. Maybe. I'm going to be optimistic and say Vingegaard does win. So first of a Dane, I think. Fuglsang never won it. Bjarne Riis never won it. So I think that's quite a safe assumption. But Vingegaard is going to win. Second, Richard Carapaz. Third, Matteo Jorgensen.
Interesting.
Yeah, but this doesn't count, so it's fine. I'm experimenting with a double podium from them. Obviously, they did the clean podium in 2023, which was crazy. But
it's mad thinking back on that. How the heck did it happen?
Yeah, that was special. Wasn't that the downfall as well? That was the beginning of the end for them.
Yeah, that was it. That was the glory days. You should have just tapped out there and then, closed the team, shut everything down. You weren't going to get any better. Well, actually, no, you get better than that. If you locked out the podium of the Tour, that'll be it. You may as well forward your team at that point. You're not going to get any better. The only way is down.
Yeah.
Win by, just stop while you're ahead. When the fun stops, stop. That's what that's the gambling saying, isn't it? So that's what teams need to take as their motto. When the wins stop, stop.
Bye-bye, Cofidis.
Oof.
Ouch. Why am I so mean to Cofidis? Anyway, with that...
Quintana, Cofidis.
Huh?
Quintana, Cofidis. Who's next?
Imagine if Inairo signed with Cofidis. I mean, that could happen. Anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That really helps us out. Comment down below what you think of the Vuelta contenders as well. And we are available on Spotify as well, so do check that out. And of course, also check out Patrick's own channel, I'll Do Cycling. That will be in the description below. But, well, for now, that's basically it for us. And check out our transfer talks as well from this week. So, we will see you in the next one.